Welcome to another episode of Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view. Uh, this is show number 88, so we're getting pretty close to that 100th show. So today I'm doing the show solo because of illness in Lloyd Mendenhall's family. Sadly, his wife Judy suffered a stroke yesterday, and so he's busy taking care of her, and hopefully she'll go home today. So let's pray for a speedy and full recovery. So our prayers and thoughts are with you, Lloyd and Judy. So take care and hope everything works out great. All right, so today we've got a lot to talk about. We'll talk about a little more about the riot at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. We'll talk about that. Then we'll talk about the second impeachment. Yes, Trump's been impeached. And then lastly, we'll talk about, will Biden go forward and still have a trial in the Senate to remove Donald Trump, even though he will be out of office by then. So that'll be interesting to see how that all works out. And it looks like a real mess. And then what's going to happen when Biden does become president. I want to say hello to Mike B, aka the Drone Ranger. Thank you for coming in. So going back to the riot in Washington, D.C., now there's information coming out that it turns out that this was pre-planned. So they can't really say that Donald Trump incited this riot because this was already pre-planned. So that kind of throws all of that out the window. So that is very interesting how this is all falling down. From what I'm hearing, some of those people, they wanted to capture and kill certain individuals in the House and Senate. So that's getting kind of scary. This is all information all coming out from the FBI. So, and on top of that, there's a warning going out to all the state capitals to keep an eye out for possible riots on this weekend or on Inauguration Day, which is Wednesday. So we'll see how that unfolds. I'm hoping nothing happens, that this will all just blow over, but we'll see what happens in D.C. Because we've got something like 20,000 troops guarding the White House and the Capitol. So that is kind of worrisome too. I've listened to Donald Trump's speech. I looked at the transcript, and I can't find anything in that would inflame or incite a riot. I mean, it's his typical speech that he gives at all his rallies, except he's talking about, the fraudulent election, which, is looking more and more less. I mean, all right, I do believe there was fraud in this election, but I don't think there was enough to change the election. I think Joe Biden won. By how much, I don't know. But there are some interesting things coming out where, certain states change their rules by the state Supreme Courts without going through the legislative process, which is how it's supposed to happen, especially in Pennsylvania. Now, Donald Trump would have gone after them before the election. Maybe they could have gotten something done there, but that is all. That's moot because that's in the past. We can't change that right now. So, what happens to Donald Trump's brand? I mean, I think he's done. I think the things that he's done in the last 2 weeks have really damaged his credibility. And here is my hope. I hope that when he leaves on Wednesday, that he'll just, continue with his movement, but stay out of the limelight. Don't run for re-election, because what's going to happen is he's probably not going to be nominated. And if he decides to start a third party, he's going to be like Ross Perot, and then we'll get another 4 to 8 years of another Democrat administration. Because we all know that Joe Biden is only going to serve one term. I don't even think he's going to serve out a full term. So, I don't even know if he'll make it past the first year in his administration. Because I think there's enough damaging information about Hunter Biden that could taint his administration to where he'll either resign or be impeached. I mean, it could be a possibility his own party will impeach him and force him out of office. Or what he may do is he may resign due to medical issues where he can't carry out the duties of his office. And that would send the presidency to Harris, which is really scary because she's off the wall left of center. Yes, you're right, Mike. We will end up with our first woman president. But she wasn't elected, that's a whole different ballgame. And here's what I'm hoping will happen in 24 is if Nikki Haley throws her hat in the ring. I mean, boy, talk about two women with two polarized opposite ideas or ideals or about what they stand for. So it'll be interesting to see that. So anywho, so we've had an impeachment last week. What's different about this impeachment? It was all done in one day. There was no trial. There was no hearings. No due process in this impeachment. It was just, I think that the whole premise was based upon incitement of insurrection, which is ludicrous. These people, they are just hell-bent on trying to get Donald Trump out as quickly as possible. They started off by sending a letter to Mike Pence telling him to invoke the 25th Amendment and remove Donald Trump, or we will go ahead with impeachment. He told them that he wasn't going to do it. So they went ahead and impeached the president. You're right, Gary. It does happen in the Senate, but Mitch McConnell is not going to convene the Senate until Wednesday or after Wednesday, because Donald Trump will already be gone. So I don't know why they would have a trial for an ex-president other than to convict him and make sure that he doesn't run for office again. This is all uncharted territory. It may not even be constitutional because the guy is no longer in office. Why impeach somebody who's no longer in office? How is that going to unify the country? I mean, this is where Joe Biden could step in and say, we know a lot of you guys want to go through with this, but we need to have unity, so let's not go ahead with the trial. But frankly, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Biden is just going to let it go, and it could be a real mess, and it could divide the country even further. So it'll be interesting to see how that all unfolds. And then we're looking at what Biden wants to. I just saw the other day that Nancy Pelosi is already starting plans on making Washington, D.C. the 51st state. So that'll be interesting to see how that all unfolds, because there are two Democrat senators that are not on board with doing that. That Joe Manchin of Virginia is not on board, and Dianne Feinstein is not on board with doing that. So those could be the two stumbling blocks right there, unless they really strong arm the Nancy Pelosi strong arms those two senators. Steve Mack, welcome to the show. Good to see you. And okay, let's see who's messaging me. Okay. But isn't it funny? She only wants to do Washington, D.C. Why not go for broke? Let's go for Puerto Rico. Well, because Puerto Rico, they just went through a big scandal on the bottled water during that hurricane that disappeared. And this was all happened under a Democrat administration. And I believe they have a Republican governor right now. So they're worried about, well, if they bring in Puerto Rico, it's just, all that's going to do is balance it back out to where we have two Republican senators. So that, I think that's why I think Nancy Pelosi is not going ahead with bringing both of those into making them states. Yes, Steve, Betty White in 2024. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Betty White. 99 years old. Wow. Man. I think she and Ed Asner are the only two left from the Mary Tyler Moore show. I think everybody else has passed away. Yep. Let's see. Gloria Ingalls, she passed away not too long ago. Who else is gone? Gavin MacLeod, he passed away several years ago. And Ted Knight, he passed away a long, long time ago. And Mary Tyler Moore, she passed away not too long ago. So those are the only two left from that show. Unless you include Cloris Leachman. I mean, she's still around. And, the gal that played Rhoda, she passed away a couple years ago as well. So, let's get back to what's going on in Washington, D.C. So, it'll be interesting to see how everything unfolds with a 50-50 Senate. I mean, will there be defections by the Democrats over to the Republicans that'll kind of slow things down? Will they do away with the filibuster? I don't think that's going to happen because Feinstein and Manchin have already stated that they're not on board with doing away with the filibuster. So that'll be interesting to see how that happens. Now, just before the show, I've been watching a little bit about Biden's agenda on the third stimulus, and it sounds like it's loaded up with pork and a lot of money going to states that pretty much they're going to bail out the failed pension systems in those states. Colorado's pension fund is not doing all that well. So more helicopter money to not really help out the people that really need it, but to go to help the buddies of the Democrat Party. So Bezos and Steyer, well, they'll get their money, but the other guys probably not too much. So we could talk a little bit about cancel culture, how this whole thing with the riots is starting off a big firestorm where tech companies are blocking or deleting Donald Trump and other conservatives off of their platform. Joe Biden is in the House. Well, good to see you. That'll be interesting. Yes, Joe, you will be president on the 20th. No? Yep. There's no doubt about that. Amazon shut off the servers to Parler, so Parler is without any servers. By the way, I do have a GoFundMe going. If you want to make a donation to help out Parler to get some servers. So I will pull up that URL. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully Parler could find a new home. By the way, I am on MeWe, so if you want to join me over there, that's more geared towards center right people. And okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy the link, and I will put that in. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Steve Mack. You already put it in there for me. Oh, cool. I've been to Parlor and I didn't see anything from QAnon. I mean, you had that on Facebook for a while there. Now they're gone off of Facebook. Now, here's what the left is. I mean, they're still going after Lauren Boebert, and they're still stating that she's a follower of QAnon, and she doesn't even follow a lot of these conservatives in the, Republicans in the House and Senate. They don't follow QAnon. They know they're a bunch of nut jobs, but the liberals are still pinning that on him. Denver Nuggets baby. Do you think the reason why there's so many troops there? No, I don't think they're gonna. The only reason they're there is to protect the people in the House and Senate around the Capitol and the White House. So I think that's what's going on there, and there's also another alternative to YouTube. It's called Rumble. I'm also on Rumble as well. Just my drone channel is on Rumble. Who knows? Maybe I'll move this over to Rumble as well. So all this is doing is creating other alternatives for conservatives, right of center people to go over to other platforms. Now, here's the distinction about the First Amendment. It says the government shall not infringe on the free speech of citizens. That's government. That's wholly different from private enterprise. I work for a company. They tell me, don't talk about politics at work. I'm fine with that. That's their prerogative. That's, if they want to set up rules like that, hey, go for it. I don't think they stole the election. I think, like I said earlier, I think there was fraud in the election. Was there enough fraud to change the outcome? I don't think so. Yep. So, in the event that they are upholding the Constitution by, protecting the newly elected president into a smooth transition into the new administration. So, that's what I think is why there are so many troops there in Washington, D.C. And there's probably some troops that are being deployed around to other state capitals. Yeah, Gary, you're right. Part of the reason, well, that and they didn't have standing, so they didn't present any evidence. So that's why those lawsuits were filed. But here's the other rub to that. It's kind of hard to present fraud if you don't have access to the machines that created the fraud. So there's a double-edged sword on that. So now, don't rule out that Trump's kids could run for office down the road. I could see Donald Jr. running for office. I mean, he could run for Senate. Maybe Eric could run for Congress. What's his daughter's name? Tiffany, I think she could. I mean, who knows how this will all turn out. Well, you're right about that, Gary. It'd be kind of hard to, if we don't have access to the machines and do a forensic, research on that, we won't be able to find the evidence. And there you go, folks. There's my email. And you're right. There could be civil unrest. I'm hoping there isn't. I hope things go smoothly, that there's a smooth transition. We'll see how it all unfolds on Wednesday. So it'll be interesting to see how that all unfolds. So one of the things that they've been saying that Kamala Harris is the first vice president, non-white vice president. And that is not true, because who was Calvin Coolidge, his vice president was not white, because he was an Indian. He has Indian blood. So he's, I think his last name was Wallace. Okay. Charles Curtis. Yep. He was the 31st Vice President of the United States from 1929 to... so he was under Herbert Hoover. Okay. So I stand corrected on that. Yes, that's right. Gary upheld the results there, so... Steve Carpenter. Wow, 9-foot high fence around the White House. Oh, wow. That is interesting. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I think there are people on... Yes? I agree with that, Denver Nuggets baby. Yep. I mean, I feel like I'm in a dreamland or an alternative universe. That all of this is just like so weird, and I look back to when I was younger. None of this stuff ever happened. And all the entrances around the White House. Wow. Wow, that's interesting. So hopefully we will have a peaceful transition on Wednesday. Will I watch it? Probably not, because I'm not really interested to, well, maybe, I mean, if I get a chance, I will listen to it, or I'll get transcripts or hear what the other pundits say about the Biden's speech on at the inauguration. We'll see how that all unfolds. I mean, will they have the inauguration inside the Capitol because of the civil unrest? Rick Halber, welcome to the show. Well, Gary, that's the prerogative of the president. I haven't heard anything about any attacks in Iraq. All I know is Iran is, talking, their smack, because all they have to do is sit back. They know that their sanctions are going to be lifted on Iran. So, and they're already starting up re-enriching uranium. Turns out enriching uranium from 2% on up, that's the easy part. The hard part is getting the first 2% of enriched uranium. Well, Gary, I'm going to have to look that up. I am not. Well, the Denver Nuggets, baby. The thing is, what's different about the right is we actually have jobs, and we don't do stuff like that on as big a scale. Well, I take that back. I mean, look at the Trump rallies, but we're not having continual huge protests around the country. We're not occupying cities. We're not burning down places because that's just not who we are. We're disgruntled. What we do is we work. We either vote or we get involved. We start by getting on a city or county board, and then move your way up into city and state. Well, from what I understand, those those were what we would call human shields. And when you have an enemy that doesn't care about civilians, you're going to have people that do that. So if you want to go after people for war crimes, I mean, we've already done that. Saddam Hussein is dead, so I mean, that just 10 women. Yep, I get you on that, but hey, those people, they, that's just part of warfare. where you have a despicable enemy that uses human shields to kill our guys. They don't follow the same protocols that we follow. I mean, we try our best to not kill civilians, but that's how it is. So, if, you know, so I don't want to talk about that anymore. That is it's just how it is. I just don't want to go there. Eh, Gary, I don't want to talk about that anymore. So, that war is done, and that just I just told you what happened. We had a bunch of bad guys that use human shields. I mean, what more you want? You want the bad guys to kill more of our guys? They can't defend themselves. All right, Mel. Good to see you. Um, so I wasn't going to talk about the Iraq War. I just want to talk about what's going to happen on the 20th. Uh, you know, Obama and Clinton, they've made some pardons that we thought that were just wholly unjustified. But, that's how it goes. So I'm just I know I keep beating the dead horse on. I'm hoping that there's a peaceful transition, but it'll be interesting to see how things unfold. And well, I'm Blackwater. Okay. Okay, Nisur Square Massacre. Okay. Oh, okay. Here's the story. They were supplying security Okay, I'm getting the oh, it turns out all those convictions were overturned in 2017 upon appeal. Okay, so anywho, yep, I agree with that. Mel. So anyway, I went and I read a little bit about that massacre. These people were guarding some embassy people. Okay, okay. Anyway, yeah, you're right, Mel. It should be we the people, the way it was intended. Uh-huh. So here in Colorado, what's going on here? Not a whole heck of a lot. Went to a birthday party last night. Had a good time uh, with the Candyman. Rick Enstrom invited me to his 67th birthday. And Friday was my birthday, so had a great. Uh, well, here's the problem with the third party. There, third party can't get enough support to. Yes, I agree, Mel. We shall see. Uh, I don't think there's going to be a recession. I think there's going to be a the growth in the economy is going to be greatly diminished. Um, I think unemployment probably will never get under 5% under Biden. I mean, I think they'll be lucky if they get it under 6%. Because what Biden wants to do is he wants to raise taxes. I mean, he wants to repeal the Trump tax cuts, which benefited a lot of people. And then he started backpedaling on that, saying, no, he just wants to go after people making over $400,000. So, hey, how about that? Let's kill the people that are starting businesses to employ more people. Yeah, let's go after those folks. Yeah, that's really good. So, yeah, it's really hard to do a show all by yourself when your co-host is not around. So, uh, yep, I agree. I think Biden is a puppet of Pelosi and Sanders. Yep. So it'll be interesting to see how far left this administration goes. I mean, will it go further left than Obama? We, yep, you're right, Mel. They're going to go after people already in business. You know, he's even talking about a mandatory mask mandate for the first 100 days. Yeah, we'll see how that works out. But it's only for in federal buildings, so we'll see how long that lasts. Uh, Hell shaking street preacher. Interesting. Okay. God is angry with America. Alrighty then. We didn't take God out. It's the Democrats that have taken. They want to take God out of everything. How about the fact they've already started blacklisting Yep, that is right, man. How is that going to unify the country? That's not unification. That's just vengeance. And I don't think these Democrats, they've been taken over by the far left, and they can't see straight. All they see is conspiracies, and you know, we got to get after those people. And they think they're so right about everything. They they know so much, but they're just about wrong on everything. And I mean, look at Michigan. They're going after an ex-governor for what happened to the Flint water supply. I mean, although he's only uh, being prosecuted for misdemeanor, but I mean, they've gone as far as they want to know. They wanted to know if he still lives in Michigan, and they even talked about they wanted to take his passport away. They say he's a flight risk. Yep, you're right, Mel. Control and refuse to see the real truth. Yep. I mean, you can have your own opinions, but you can't have your own facts, as Senator Moynihan once said. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, are there going to be more investigations? Are they going to? I mean, when will this end? I mean, sooner or later, it's a Republican's going to get in the White House. Are we going to go after those folks? I mean, look at Donald Trump had 4 years. Hillary Clinton is still not in prison. That's crazy. That's right. There's only one set of facts. Yep. And all this is going to do is keep going after people because they're pissed off at them. That's not going to unify the country. The one thing that, I mean, uh, well, if they do decide to make DC a state, well, maybe one of the other states, maybe part of California, could break off and become its own state, and then we could balance out. I mean, it's just going to go back and forth. It's not going to change anything. And that's the sad thing about the Democrat Party, is they're so blinded by control. That's all they see. They want to control every aspect of our lives by controlling every government function from dog catcher all the way to president. And that's not how this country was founded. It's getting to a point where compromise doesn't mean anything anymore. It's like, why should we compromise with the people on the left? They're not going to listen to us. And then when we're in power, they're not going to listen to us. They're not going to compromise our way. Yeah, you're right, Mel. They're going full throttle after the mostly peaceful protesters in D.C., but do not. Yep, that's true. I mean, how about all those riots that happened all last summer, all around the country? I mean, here in Denver, our capital got damaged, and our doofus governor just stood around and watched it happen instead of having the police out there protecting the Capitol building. And they let him march downtown Denver, and oh, who's oh, got a phone call. Hey, Mel. Alrighty, yeah, just had a phone call, had to take care of some stuff. I am back, so this has been kind of an interesting show. Got a little tense there with the Blackwater. Oh, thanks, Rick. Yeah, I tried something a little different today by emailing a lot of like-minded friends, and only had one person that asked me to uh, take their name off the list, and so I wanted to try something a little different. So anyway, that didn't work out so well. So Rick, just make sure you ring that bell, and you should be notified when the next show comes up. Unfortunately, the way I do this show is I don't go through YouTube and set it up there. I do it all in StreamYards, and then I go live. So if you, I mean, everybody should know what time this show starts. It starts at the same time every week. 12 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Mountain, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern time. So, I don't, some of these people, they get all whacked out about, oh, I didn't get the notification. It's like, well, hell's bells, you should know what time a certain show comes on every week. I mean, it's, oh man. So hopefully Lloyd will be back with us next week. Every one of us, in the drone community and on this channel, we're going to keep Judy in our thoughts and prayers. And yeah, right on, Mel. So, Mel, I'm going to be, right after I leave here, I'm going out to dinner with my sister, and yeah, I kind of figured he would not be on your show tonight. I will try to get back home in time to watch your show, and then to watch Professor Mitch over at Old Guy and the Drone. You gotta get that part right. So, had a pretty good show last night. A lot of super chats, which was cool. Mel, later I'm gonna have to ask you, where is, well, anyway, we'll talk about the super chat money, where it's going. Anyway, so we're getting pretty close to the end here. So I want to thank everybody for coming to the show. It was kind of an interesting show, and it reminds me of the old school days when I used to do this all by myself. And then when I first started doing this on internet radio, and boy, and that was a 3-hour show that I did. Yes, thank you, Steve. I got your email that you made a super chat. That is wonderful. Thank you. So, if you like this programming and you want to contribute, I do have a tip jar where you could send me a few bucks that way, and that's through PayPal. And I use that money to do things to improve the show, get better equipment, upgrading the computer. Hopefully I'll have the computer upgraded fairly quickly. I've got the motherboard and everything ready to go. All I have to do is make the swap, and hopefully that'll be a smooth transition. So anyway, yeah, that's right, they didn't dance. So I want to thank you guys for coming to the show. Here's my tip jar if you want to throw a few bucks in there and contribute to the show. Thank you, everybody. God bless you, and have a great week, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.